started. We're a couple minutes past the top of the hour. This is our virtual workshop, and I'm looking forward to this today, as I do every week. It's a workshop that we do across the country. And my name is David Weiner, and we're going to spend the next, I would say, good hour together. So it'll be the best hour you've spent all week. And so we're going to get started here. This is my program called Dare to Dream Again. And when I get done with this, I should have you, there's no question in mind, we should be all dreaming again. A little bit about myself. I've been in this business 32 years, got back in 1982. I have been recognized in the industry as a pioneer in the living benefit field. I'm one of the first to have brought living benefits to the United States way back in 1998. I have written as much as $1.4 million in personal production in one given year as a personal producer in the life insurance industry, and that's not annuity premium, that's life insurance premium. One of the companies that we represent was a subsidiary of the Blue Cross Company families of companies, Healthcare Service Corporation, which was made up of Texas, New Mexico, and Illinois. That little subsidiary company, I took 10 agents, and we were doing 25% of their production. We got wrote up in their annual report back in 2001 for doing that stellar job. I was asked to participate in the first worldwide convention conference on critical illness. This wasn't for salespeople. This was home office people, dignitaries, actuaries, and I was one of a couple of producers asked to participate in the first worldwide critical illness conference. I was past chairman from Missouri for the National Business Advisory Board back in 2003. One of the agency we represent is Freedom Equity Group, and we got history that goes all the way back to 1991. We started with 8 sales reps back then, and our first year we did $1.6 million in life premium. In 1992, 8,000 agents joined our agency. Now, there's only one reason. Our average sale back then was $70 a month, and we did $16 million in premium. The reason we grew such a substantial amount, we introduced a thing called the floating management bonus. And to this day, in the United States, we're the only one in the country with a floating bonus. That floating bonus is why we're the highest paid compensation deal on the street in the life insurance industry. In 1996, we sold our agency for $45 million. That was after bringing on 25,000 agents and paying out over $100 million in commissions to our field force in 4.5 years. We re-entered the independent distribution in 2003. And I will tell you, between 2003 and 2005, it took us about 2 years. We joined a company that was the #1 seller of index life in the United States. At that time, had a 48% market share. And within 24 months, we were the largest producing entity for them. Today, we are one of the largest life insurance marketing groups in the United States. We are now currently the #1 producing agency for the largest life insurance company in the United States, and we lead 3 other companies in production. We had an IMO, and when does an IMO decide to go underneath another IMO? But we had an IMO with 5,000 agents decide that our compensation system, our area of expertise, the training and support that we brought to the table, made them make a decision to come join us in July of 2014. Now, we have a goal. Our goal right now is to build the largest insurance agency in the world. And why? Because we want to sell it. Folks, we are going to do what we did before. And when we sell this entity, we're going to share the proceeds with the people that got us there. Now, for you, these are your obstacles. Every one of us that's inside this session today, our biggest obstacle is to find clients. That's never a picnic. A lot of us in our past have bought leads from different lead houses. Have you ever bought a lead that you were frustrated, or you found out it was sold to like 5 or 6 other agents, or it didn't work the paper it was printed on? Have you ever took a lower contract to be put in front of a consumer for a lead? Have you ever decided to get paid less? Have you ever split sales? I got to tell you, the year I did $1.4 million, I did a relationship split sale deal. I took 70% of the application, and the agency that was referring me to their clients to do the work I was doing, they took 30%. Sometimes it really works. And that year, I generated $1 million in commission. Have you ever been frustrated by prospecting? Have you ever got up this in the morning, like today, for example, and had no one to see? But you knew it wasn't worth quitting. That if you were in front of someone, you were on your way to making a great income, because that's the key, folks. If you believe in what you're doing, all you got to do is solve the equation of being in front of someone. This is your reality or nightmare, whichever you want to call it. Why does cold calling no longer work? Well, if you're working in the business market, our business owners are slammed 24/7. They're not willing to provide interrupted time to some person walking in off the street. They don't want to do it that way. Why does telemarketing produce minimal results? Well, please don't blame it on do not call this, because it's not the issue. The issue is we don't use home phones anymore. We're a smartphone world, and we have not mastered the art of telemarketing a smartphone yet. Why does direct mail no longer bring home the predictable results? Well, that's easy. It's been oversaturated. We now do most of our business online. We don't go to the mailbox. We bank online. We pay our bills online. We search for things online. Let's face it, a piece of mail in the mailbox is just not important. What about the Internet? I don't know about you, but I've been told never really to open up Internet mail from a stranger. I mean, I'm just not interested in opening up mail. If it's got an attachment, forget it, because I'm not interested in viruses. You think Ebola's bad? Well, yeah, that might kill you. But if you pick up the wrong virus on a computer, you got to go buy a new computer. That's no picnic. But the reality is, if you Google life insurance, you're going to find out there's 18 million hits when you Google that word. None of us on this call have the Internet expertise or cash to dominate that kind of competition. So why have most independent agents given up? Do you realize that half the people in this industry have, the independent agency force, do you realize half have left in the last 10 years? Why do agents have such a difficult time getting themselves a place to work or have the money to advertise their services? Because of all of the above. The reality is the last 10 years have not been fun for you. For you to cope in today's world, you've got to change the way you do business. And here's the bad news. Today, 62% of all consumers in this country have not seen an insurance professional at their kitchen table in more than 7 years. Now for the good news. 62% of all consumers have not seen an insurance professional in their home in more than 7 years. The market is wide open. So let's talk about you. If you're a well-dressed, articulate insurance professional and you meet my qualifications, I would like to place you in a very nice office at no cost to you. I like to have my agency signage on the wall when people come and enter the place where you're working, but I'd like to put you back in position to be successful. We have a model that when you follow this model, we're going to provide you a model where clients come to see you, come to your location, and within a few months, the person hosting you will be referring clients to you, in addition to those generated by the weekly business workshops that you'll be putting on. We're going to train you how to accept referrals and work our workshops. Now, our model is going to show you that 30 days, not of joining, but engaging in marketing, doing our marketing plan, we will see you writing up to $1 million per month in annuity premium and an amazing $50,000 in life insurance premium. Now, imagine that. We've located you in a plush office where clients are coming to see you, and there's no cost involved, and the person that's hosting you is actually going to start giving you clients. How do you feel about that? You got to have relationships. Now, I'm going to skip the first one, but I like relationships with attorneys. And I'm going to tell you right now, just without even skipping it, one of the people you're going to be working with in this model is a local attorney that focuses on business owners. And if they want to be that attorney in our family for you, they're going to have to do reciprocal business and refer business to you, because we can be choosy who we do business with. I'm going to skip that one, and I'm going to go to the next one. You are going to create a relationship with a local property and casualty agency, and that is who's going to house you, folks. The P&C agency, we're going to give you language. I am the one that's going to present to the P&C agency for you why they should do business with us. We're going to explain to them why they're going to give you a nice office at no charge. But the reality is we're going to give them 15 to 20 commercial accounts a month. In fact, it's not going to cost them a penny. We're not asking for any compensation or access to their current clients. Now, do I want access to their current clients? Absolutely. But when they give us the time of day, when we sit there and pick up the phone and ask them would they like 15 to 20 clients a month, and we're talking about commercial insurance premium, stuff that does not grow on trees, very lucrative stuff, and we offer that to a business owner, you're going to get past the gatekeeper. They are going to schedule an interview, and they're going to want to find out how in the world we can give them 15 to 20 clients a month. What do I want from them? I want my advisor, as in you, to have a place to work. Once it's time for the liability and workman's compensation plan to be written in our model, we'll give it to them. And because we're doing loans, we will fund and finance their insurance premium. Now, what's going to happen, they're going to realize that we're proficient at what we do. We're amazing at financing, and you're going to learn our new model today. And that P&C agency is going to want to access the things that we're doing for our clients, which in essence, they're referring clients to you, and we're going to build a model that continues to go forward. As that relationship matures, what I want, and we tell them from that day physically going forward, here's the bottom line. And basically, I want to buy into that agency. That's not going to happen in day one. It's not going to happen in 5 or 6 months. They need to see that we're real. They need to see that there's actually, that we're bringing substance to the table. I want to be a partner in that P&C agency, and my goal is to buy several hundred P&C agencies over the next couple of years. This program is giving me the ability with you to get our foot in the door, giving away business in the initial beginning, sharing workspace together with them, showing that we bring results to the table. But the bottom line reality, I don't want to do it just for free. I don't want to do it just for an office space, folks. We are building phenomenal residual income for that property and casualty agency. And we have a platform that you're going to learn about today, a lending platform that allows me to take you, window dress you, get you prepped so that we can buy that agency with no money out of your pocket, which creates for you an exit strategy. The most wealthiest people in the insurance industry have always been the people in the property and casualty business. Those people in the property and casualty business have done things like own baseball teams. Like if you're a fan of the Bay Area, the former Oakland A's was owned by a very, very famous P&C agency. On the board of directors with the White Sox is Dennis Gilbert, who's part of Major League Baseball. He made all his money in the property and casualty industry. Some of the most wealthiest entities in the world are on the P&C side. And it's an exclusive club. They're almost never for sale, or you never find out about it. The best way to create a relationship with a property and casualty agency is to bring business to them. Our model allows us to do that. And it's a big deal to me. I also want relationships with CPAs. Who doesn't? If you've been in the insurance industry at all, you know they got a file cabinet of business owners that got 401k and IRA money. Well, you know what? I want that. But in my model, I'm creating for attorneys and CPAs 15 to 20 clients a month that require a CPA to be brought to the table to write the legalese and take care of my business clients' needs. Well, if that CPA agrees to do business my way and not do business the old-fashioned way where they're referring 401ks and IRAs, I have no issues giving that CPA business. I do want reciprocal sales back down the road. I do not need it today, but I want a relationship with a great CPA in each town. So I'm going to get your attention right now. With an engaging in my plan, what if I really do have you writing $1 million a month of annuity premium? What if I really have you writing $50 $60,000 a month in life. Do you realize in that model that's 86, in our compensation system, that's $86,000 a month in revenue in your pocket? When's the last time you made $86,000 in 1 month? Now, we know you got to put a portion of that back into advertising to keep these workshops filled. We think the model number is 25% in the business. So if you're generating $86,000, we expect you to put $20,000 a month back into advertising. I think that's a fair trade, don't you? So how do we get there? In this country, there's 92 million Americans out of work, underemployed, or displaced. That's not going to change. That's 92 million Americans that they're just not structured in the best shape whatsoever. The demographic I want is ages 45 to 60 years of age. How many times have we sat down and heard about someone that had a great job, was making a great living, and they got let go? They were replaced because somebody was willing to work for less money, or because of the crazy health insurance we have in this world today. You know, the companies are no longer giving us full-time hours. What happens to that person that gets removed from the job market? What do they do to cope with that? They go out and try and find work. And no matter how strong their resume is, they have a hard time getting placed back in the marketplace for nowhere near the wage that they were physically making. How many times have we heard about someone going to school currently and coming out of college and unable to find work in their chosen field? Business ownership is the pathway back to prosperity. It does not matter to me whether a person comes to the table and we sit down with them and they decide that they want to own a Midas muffler shop, whether they want to be in our field, in the financial services industry. The reality is today there's too many people that have been great white-collar and blue-collar management let go, lost their jobs, gone back into the workplace, their income's been cut in half, and their household is in a shambles because they can no longer make ends meet. I was talking to a lady the other day out of Michigan, got divorced, lost the income from her husband, had to maintain her lifestyle with 2 jobs full-time to pay the bills in her household, and then lost one of those jobs. This horror story is being repeated constantly across this country. The only way you can control your environment is to not be the worker, but to be the business owner. You know, that was a lesson that was given to me when I was 19 years of age at a country club by a very successful business owner. Most people in this country don't realize that this country has given away most of its manufacturing jobs. We've given away most of our jobs overseas. They don't get it. Jobs don't grow on trees anymore. And the only way back to prosperity for you is to take control of your life. Isn't it time you researched and did the homework to see if you can have control of your household again? Don't you deserve it? And by the way, I'm not talking about some multi-level marketing plan or some dream type of business. I'm talking about real concrete. I mean, the reality is I had a person that we talked to last week who came with 26 years of restaurant experience, general manager of IHOPs and general manager of a Bob Evans at one time, 26 years. Do I need to put him in my business? Do I have to make him an insurance agent? No. Why can't I take what the tools I have and get him a loan with no money out of his pocket, window dress him, package him to a bank, and instead of him being a worker for a restaurant, make him an owner of a restaurant? See, to me, that's a model worth doing. See, it is time to dream again. From owning a financial service practice to an established franchise or some great startup idea, you know, we can do that for you. We help those like you sitting in this room today obtain a path to business ownership. We know the steps you have to do in order to have a bank or investor invest in you. So I'll ask you the question. If the money was available, do you want it? Startup capital with no collateral? It begins with you. I'm not going to tell you you don't need a good credit score. You do. But here's the great thing. We work with people that were vice presidents at banks, not slimy ones, but really professional ones, that if your credit is not stellar, we'll fix it. I'd like to tell you that credit score is enough, but it's not. But we're not going to absolve you of any debts. But they can fix your credit report. Your money. A lot of companies advertise every day you've been displaced, and now they want you to go spend your 401k money and take that as a down payment on a business. I'm going to tell you right now, we're not about that. I'm not here to charge you a bunch of fees. I'm not here to do anything but dummy-proof your money. I don't want your money to be blown at this point. In fact, your few crumbs you got left need to still be saved. And I'll show you more about that in a second, but I'm going to tell you right now, we're not going to let you blow your money. Getting a banker to say yes, wow. See, that's a magic. There was $2 trillion lent out in the United States commercially. Now, the federal government has agencies throughout this country, 967 locations, designed to help people learn entrepreneurialism. Those small business developmental centers across the country, those 967 centers, are sitting there window dressing and educating and doing workshops to get people to do one thing, own a business. And why do they want you to own a business? Because they need jobs created, because there's a lack of jobs in this country. Well, guess what? Last year in the United States, 93% of the people that applied for loans from big banks got told no. The entities that went through the government centers, they had the same thing, a 93% no ratio. That's okay. They had 1.3 million in traffic that went through their locations. Now, if you're a financial services person in this room today, I want you to visualize and stop for a second. Traffic of 1.3 million. Everything I said about prospecting that can be eliminated today is ours for the taking. And for those of you that are going to be in business and outside the insurance industry, I understand that. But there was traffic of 1.3 million, and we lent out in business loans last year, just through that entity, $4.5 billion, with a 93% reject ratio. The new thing you're going to learn, our new lending portal, you're going to see today, the same one that the federal government has adopted in many of their centers throughout the country, we get to use the exact same one, gives us an accept ratio of 22%. That means if we're pushing through 100 people through, it's not 7 success stories, it's 22 success stories. So how do you get a banker to say yes? Well, yes, we want a great credit score. We're going to work with you. We know that if you're one of those displaced people, your financial house is probably way out of shape now. Well, guess what? It needs to be in good order. You've got to show that you're a steward of money. To get money, you've got to show you're a steward of it. We know that. You know that too. You need a resume that makes sense for the company you want to own. The guy last week, case in point, 26 years in the restaurant industry. He was coming into the insurance industry. And what did I say to him? You know, I think we need to take a step backwards and go to your expertise. He goes, but I love what you guys do. I like the kind of money you make. Yes, it's true, but your wheelhouse is 26 years in the in the restaurant industry. Let's window dress you and get you a restaurant. You got to have a stellar marketing plan. You know what I love about franchises? There's thousands of franchises in this country, in every state and city across the country. What I love about franchises is they already got a marketing plan. If you're doing a startup, we're going to have to window dress it. We're going to have to help you create a marketing plan. No marketing plan, no loans. You're going to have a website. No bank will not release funds. Now, I'm going to tell you right up front, if I'm placing you in a facility as an insurance person, we're using the same company that the federal government recommends in their SBDC centers. I will not place you without having a website from me. I want you to have a website. It's going to be mobile friendly. And why do I like it? Because I don't want to sit there and have to build it for you. I know anybody can build a website on WordPress and do all those things and fill in the blanks, but you know what? I'm using one that creates a commercial. It's got a platform, my YouTube channel. It's got my lending portal on it for me. It's got everything I need from everything imaginable, to all links to all my social media. This website shows I know how to market myself. And if you can't demonstrate to the bank that you know how to market yourself, you're not going to get a deal. So we know that's part of getting a yes. Where I specialize is business continuation planning. And I'm going to talk a little bit about business continuation planning. It's going to ask you, do you have life insurance to pledge to protect the note? In the past, what funded business continuation was life insurance. The question is, do you have the old kind of life insurance or the new kind? So I want you to imagine for just a second you're the business owner. And as a business owner, I want to ask you, you know the bank's going to stipulate there's enough life insurance on the table. The banks don't like doing loans where they don't get their money back. Banks don't like stats. Businesses and startups, 8 out of 10 fail. And if you're a business owner, that causes what? Stress. Stress causes heart attacks and strokes. Now, in the United States last year, folks, the average age of death was 80 for a female, 74 for a male. 84% of the deaths in this country was heart disease, cancer, and stroke. The average age of a claim for a critical illness that includes those 3 illnesses was 43 years of age last year. The average age of a medical bankruptcy, which was 62% of the bankruptcies in this country, were blamed on medical reasons, called medical incapacitation. Average age was 44 years of age. 52% of critical illness claims in this country was between 41 and 50 years of age. Now, there's 3 entities in a business that are affected when a loan goes sour. And why do loans go sour? Because the revenue is not there. But if you're a business owner and you get sick, in the small business world, 77% of the assets of a small businessman are inside their company. That's a fact. And if you got sick and you weren't there to run your company and your company went into disarray, you could no longer take income out of your company, could you? And if you could not take money out of your company, the first entity affected is your personal family. And what happens if you can't take out money to pay your personal bills at home? Your personal house goes into a crisis mode. The second people affected by you unable to function and run your business is your employees. If your company is in a confused state, in a distress mode, because you're not there to run it, the reality is the company will be sold for pennies on the dollar. The jobs that you created are gone. But the one that's the most unhappiest is not your family. The one that's not the most unhappiest is not your employees that don't have jobs anymore. The one that makes the decision whether or not to give you money or not give you money, they want to meet you in person. They want to make sure you're healthy enough. They want to make sure you got a great plan, that you're a leader. Banks do judge books by their cover. They just do. Your capital source does not want you going down for the count. When we showed people this past year the new type of life insurance, the kind you don't have to die, they feel better about a person having the health condition or not as long as they've got the new type of life insurance. I need lots of funds, not Band-Aid insurance. This is not Aflac, folks. This is not getting $20,000 or $25,000 to pay a couple of bills. I am talking about real capital. I need time to see whether or not you can go back to work. I need a year, year and a half to see if you can recover, to run your ship, because you probably didn't die. The reality is 7 out of 10 people hit by a critical illness under 65 don't die. Now, that's bad news for the bank. They prefer you in a box. If you can't run the company, they want their money back, and the only way to get their money back is to have you not breathing. But doctors aren't going to let that happen. The new type of life insurance, let's say your overhead's $50,000 a month. What if I could release 18 months of your bills up front, $900,000 up front with no death involved? You're not dead. What if I could release enough money to pay off all your payables, including your loans to the bank? And inside that overhead for the next 12, 18 months was included the money you were taking out to pay your bills at home. How would you feel about that? That'd be pretty strong, isn't it? That's business continuation planning. We're going to have to hire someone to replace what you do. Maybe it's 1 or 2 people. Business continuation planning allows me to raise another $200,000 or $300,000 in capital. I can release up to $4 million the day you get sick, not dead. And here's the great news. Because I'm in the lending business and the bank understands this, I can take my insurance premium and package it into the loan. I know a $4,000 premium for an annual premium is worth $33 a month for business continuation planning on a loan package. That's great. Am I going to need a lawyer to do the legalese and write the buy-sell agreement? Yes. And if you're doing 15 to 20 of those a month, what attorney not focused on the small business market and business owners would not want to be your lawyer partner in that community? Am I going to need a CPA to help with the equations and the buy-sell agreement and figure out the factors and do the books? And what property and casualty agent is not going to want to partner up and get those 15 to 20 commercial accounts? Our workshops are designed for you to do 20 clients a month. This is our process. And you're going through today. You're going on a workshop of owning a business. And it does not matter what the business is. The business could be the insurance industry. The business could be owning a McDonald's. It does not matter. The second part, you go in on a one-on-one interview. It really is an interview. In that interview, we're going to talk about that person's background. Yes, we're going to pull their credit. We're going to do a financial analysis. Now, if there's money that's been saved, I don't care whether it's an insurance agent or whether they're going to be a McDonald's owner. No longer is money going to be in harm's way. You are going to review what type of life insurance they own. And if you find the owed kind, even on an insurance agent, you're going to replace it. There's 149 million policies in force of the owed kind. They need the new type. And we need insurance to protect the note. If they have a good credit score, you'll go immediately to the lending portal. You're going to learn about the lending portal today, but we're unique, and we're poised right now to become the largest lender in the free world today for commercial loans. If they got a bad credit, we're going to explain credit restoration to them, and we're going to refer them to someone to clean up their credit report. And they'll come back to us to finish a job once their credit report has been cleaned up. We're going to help set up their marketing. I'm sorry, folks. You got to do that. You got to help them show marketing. If you don't show marketing to a bank, they don't get a note. It's got to be mobile friendly because today's world works on a smartphone. They need a commercial. They need links to their social media. We're even going to give them a loyalty rewards program. And we're going to do what we do best. For those of you on this call that have a background in the insurance industry, but guess what? We're going to do business continuation planning. And with business continuation planning, that brings in CPAs and attorneys. And for the first time in your life, you have an actual relationship with other professionals. And most importantly, we have window dressed you, the insurance professional, to house you in a location at no cost to you to make you look good. Now, I talked about immediate, huge compensation numbers that have nothing to do with the loan process, called protecting your crumbs. Now, most companies, when they advertise online to sell a business, they don't care where you get the money. They'll take your 401k money or your IRA accounts. I have no desire for you to blow that money. In fact, we are going to urge you to dummy-proof it. When you find that money, whatever that amount is, we're going to do an IRA rollover for you, that old 401k money. And I'm going to use an insurance company that once insured Abe Lincoln. And they've got the most unique bonus I've ever seen. They've got an income rider that has a 30% bonus. So, example, you've got $50,000 left over. You bring that to me today, and guess what? We're going to have $65,000 in that income account. And here's the cool thing. Within 30 days, that income account is going to kick out a check every year for the rest of that person's life. That's $2,500 a year, give or take, based on the person's age. Now, what are we going to do with that $2,500? We're going to fight stress. You see, when you put someone to own a business, they're going to have stress. I don't care. You can't avoid it. Stress is the silent killer. With that income being paid out from the annuity contract, we are going to buy on them personally. It's got nothing to do with business continuation. We are going to put together what's called a household continuation plan. That's HCP. And we're going to buy $1.2 to $1.5 million of a new type of life insurance that they do not have to die. Now, I have no idea how you're going to cope with the daily stress of owning your business, but I know one thing. Stress causes strokes and heart attacks. If you succumb to, God forbid, one of those illnesses, I'm going to get a chance to release up to 90% of the death benefit up front. And here's the deal. We're going to take that $1 million that got released because you got sick, couldn't cope with the business deal we put you into. We're going to go back to that insurance company that insured Abe Lincoln, take them $1 million, let them add $300,000 to the mix, and it's going to generate 30 days later an income of around $60,000 a year guaranteed for the rest of your life. Note that first $50,000 you brought to the table, it's still sitting there. We never spent it. We dummy-proofed it so you couldn't blow it, and that $2,500 is still coming out for you year in and year out until you no longer take a breath. And I can design this income stream so that if you did succumb to those illnesses or injuries, or whatever it is, that it goes to your widow. It goes to her until you can no longer take a breath. I call that protecting the household. The company we use is Phoenix Life. Even once insured Abe Lincoln, there's his actual policy. Now, I know Abe Lincoln died of lead poisoning, and that didn't work out for the insurance company. Okay, that was a little joke. But the bottom line reality is they're available today. This is the bonus. If I begin the income stream day one, 30 days from today, they get a 30% enhancement. So if you bring $100,000 to the table, my client's got income stream on $130,000. If they want to wait to year 3, they're basing their income on $145,000. If they want to wait 10 years to touch the money on the right-hand side, this is the highest roll-up on the income rider. It's simple interest, but it's 14% a year. So if you brought $100,000 to the table, at the end of 10 years, I've got an income stream based on $240,000, and that's all guaranteed. So the big question is, what causes 62% of all the BKs in America? And I've already talked about it, health issues. And whether we're setting up a household continuation plan or we're setting up a business continuation plan, we want the new type of life insurance. We sit down with a business owner and we document what we do. We fund the right amount of insurance. And I'm going to tell you, we need time. Because if they can't come back, we got to have the company functioning. We got to have an employee running that deal. And we need the cost, not only the money comes out of your household, but enough money to hire and pay for someone else. And that's not in most small business budgets. We need extra money, $2, $3, $4 million to keep it whole. And if the company does have to be sold, it can be. So let's talk about our solutions. Do you see that right there? That's from the largest life insurance company in the world. That was a 20-year term policy written in 2011 on a 47-year-old. He bought a $390,000 term for $58 a month. A year later, he was diagnosed with stomach cancer, was not dead, but that claims check was paid out to my client while he was breathing, not dead. This is the new type of life insurance, and whether it's done with cash value insurance or done with term insurance, it does not matter. It replaces everything out there. Why is this available? Because of the picture of that guy right there. That's Dr. Marius Bernard. Dr. Bernard and his brother Christian Bernard did the very first human-to-human heart transplant back in December of 1967. He helped design and create a concept called critical illness life insurance in this country. It was introduced in the United Kingdom between 1995 and 1998. They did in the UK the first 4 years $45 billion in insurance premium. That's the B word, folks. It was introduced in Japan in 1998. 1 in 4 households bought it the very first year. It's here in the United States now. Yet only 86,000 policies of living benefit type were written last year, less than 0.5% of all the insurance contracts in force. They project the next 3 years that $70 billion in premium is going to be done in this country. This one right here, Par Yang, wrote the very first book. It can be gotten on Amazon.com on living benefits, how to protect what matters most. And what's amazing about her, she was one of those people that migrated to the United States when she was young from Vietnam. She did very well as a young person, and she married well. She married a Mr. Universe type in Minneapolis. She had at one point documented $2 million in her bank account. And then her husband, they had the wrong kind of insurance, got sick with cardio problems. Ended up on a feeding tube for 3 years. And when she turned that feeding tube off, all the money in the world that she had was gone. She and her kids moved from a nice house into a tiny little apartment. Somewhere along the line, she attended a workshop. And she learned about living benefit life, and she put her life back together by getting an insurance license and making sure that people didn't have happen to them would happen to her. On page 4 and page 79 of that book, in the footnotes, the facts where she got it, she cited me as her fact source. And you know what? I'm amazed. One of the nicest books on living benefits. I'm the person that she ended up citing myself. So who's going to pay for your bills? How do you pay a house payment if you got no income? How do you pay a car note if you got no income? How do you fund a retirement account if you got no income? How do you keep your promises to your kids if you have no income? With our program, with our insurance, not only can I pay off all your business debts, maintain your business overhead, but your household continuation plan, I can pay off all your personal debts, and I can simultaneously that day fund your entire retirement, 100% of your income. In other words, you can't go to work, but I've got your income covered for life. And if you do die from those illnesses, I can structure it to bring your income in to your widow until the day she passes on. Why am I such a strong entity? Because of the newest thing in my arsenal, my lending platform. This lending platform is brand new. We've only got this lending platform 10 weeks ago. It's a platform that was adopted by the SBDC Centers at their national convention this past year. It's amazing. Today, and I know the number is 3,500, but it's now 3,700 lenders are on this platform today. In 10 weeks, we've done over 1,700 loans and put in over $1.5 billion in loans. This is a huge number, folks. You need money for a business. You need unsecured lines of credit. You want a factory. You need commercial real estate. Guess what? We don't charge any upfront fees on our lending portal. We do startup loans. We do working capital, installment loans, SBA lending, leasing, factoring, purchase order lending, real estate, private capital, and much more. We've got large banks, small banks. We've got specialty lenders. There's insurance companies in our mix, mutual fund companies. Let me tell you something. 7% of the $2 trillion that was lent out was done by large banks. The rest was done by everybody else. It was not done by the big banks in your backyard. They don't want to do it right now. They're not interested in writing a loan where it goes belly up. When you have lenders competing against others, well, guess what? You get great pricing. How hard is this? It's not that difficult. All we do is we complete a questionnaire with our client. Businesses are matched with lenders through our unique proprietary matching software. And I got to tell you, within a matter of hours, maybe 2 days at max, that person's got the background that they're looking for. Up to 5 lenders will have them pre-approved. And the lender contacts my client, not me. I don't have to do any paperwork. I just complete the questionnaire online with them. I window dress them. I prepare things to get them looking good for a bank but I don't have to do all the documentation. That's a pretty big deal. The borrower pays no fee for our services. Real-time data is available online. The lenders, they pay us when the loan is closed. The client, because they're getting negotiated by more than one place, they can negotiate for the best terms. There's over 40 different types of loans on our portal. There's no license required for us to do commercial loans. And we can get loans done as fast as 3 days, just 6, 7, 8 weeks. Maybe it takes 3 months. What difference does it make as long as it gets done? This is how it works. We put the needs of your business into the computer. Our software, which is proprietary, matches you up with borrowers. They get contacted up to 5 lenders immediately. Because there's multiple lenders, they can do things. Now, I'm going to give you an example. Have you ever heard of Match.com, the dating company? You know, a boy puts in his information, girl puts in their information, and then the computer decides who should be matched together. Well, they don't go on the date. If you've ever used Match.com, Match.com doesn't go on the date to make it work. The same thing applies here. We don't go on the date. We just input the information, and then the bank gets together with the client. It's up to the client to get the pay. I've seen loans done in 3 days. Why? Because the client got everything they asked for to get it done fast. It's up to the client how fast they respond or get it done. There's all kinds of different types of loans out there. You can get people who want to get loans to get new equipment, things like that. But on the left-hand side, we're talking on this left side here, a couple of things. You see that word called factoring? I got a firm right now that works exclusively with truck drivers. The independent truck drivers are living, load to load. They pick up a load. They got to get paid. They don't have time for a person to do the billing. In other words, you got to bill out to the company for the loads you carried, and now they got to get their pay 30, 45 days later. That's crazy. They need a factoring line of credit. So what they do is once they complete a load, they fax in the paperwork from a truck stop, and the person that approved them for factoring will wire into their bank account the money they need. Bang, they're getting paid on their deal right away. Down here, different kinds of loans. Let's say you want to do, you came to the table and say, well, Dave, what I want to do for my life is I want to go buy all the investment real estate. I want to buy properties, and I'm going to invest. This is not residential. This is for investment real estate. I can do individual loans that are buying it for investment, and that's the business they want to be in. I've got loans in our banks that will lend up to 50 properties at one time. They want to buy 50 houses, blanket loan check to go buy property. Over here on the right side, look at this. I've got acquisition funding. I've got franchise loans. I even have down here angel financing. The most important word, if you're an insurance agent, see that word called mezzanine financing? That means the bank will have you do no down payment. They'll be your partner in a loan to buy let's say, for example, a property and casualty agency with no money out of your pocket. And they'll dole the money out, pay the bills of that business until the loan's paid off. And then in the contract paperwork, they'll no longer be a partner when it's over. Great stuff. Again, it's an easy questionnaire. We can do the process on the phone or in person. It takes 10 to 15 minutes, and then you submit it. We don't charge any upfront fees, and immediately the information is circulated in front of 3,500 to 3,700 learners. Now, the great news for you insurance people in this seminar, there are questions in the questionnaire asking if they have business continuation. Do they have insurance to protect the note? It's diversification. It is a great way to explode our business. From a standpoint of the website, I love my virtual website. It's a mobile too. It's a URL. It's not an app. It gives me a commercial. It gives me everything I talked about that I physically need. We need that. And when we market with that thing, it's optimized. It's optimized because the reality is we're a smartphone world. And if we don't have that structure put together, if we don't have the ability to demonstrate to the bank that we know how to market our company, that we are able to market ourselves, then we're part of the 80% that don't get a yes. And we want a yes. And guess what? It's cheap to build. You know, when you look at the pricing of mobile sites in this country, I got to tell you something. To have someone build you a site that gives you a 2-minute commercial and everything because they're doing mass amount of volume, you're getting it built for $129. You're hosting mobile sites. If you go online and research for a mobile site, it could be hosting costs of $200 to $300 a month. We're getting it done for $10 a week. Inexpensive. I like that. So in conclusion, if you're brand new here today, I don't care what your background is. The reality is your next step, if you want to be put into business, is an interview. It's a one-on-one counseling session. It'll last about an hour. It's your job to get back with the person that got you here today. It's your job to get, if you want to be placed in a property and casualty agency office and you want to be involved in this project from the insurance standpoint, you need to schedule an interview. It's a one-on-one interview, and it does not mean you're in. We may recommend you do something else after we hear your background. We're not trying to force anyone to be just insurance. We want your dream to be your dream, not my dream. Does that make sense? But your next step is to schedule your interview. We're not there to charge you a bunch of money. We're there to get you cleaned up, get yourself presented so you take control back of your life. Again, you've just spent an hour of your time. It was an amazing hour because we covered a lot of things. But what we're doing right now, with the same kind of traffic that was done last year, we can't do anything but succeed because the world truly is ours now. Thank you, and God bless. Have a great day.